My 28 female, boyfriend, 31 male, knowingly gave me HPV years ago that has developed into cervical cancer. We've been together for 5 years and are just about to get engaged soon. I just picked my ring out. When we first got together, apparently he had genital warts the year before and a doc told him he had HPV. He never mentioned this to me and it came out like a year into us dating. He says he thought it wasn't a big deal as the whole time we've been together he hasn't had any symptoms, warts, and assumed his body cleared it. I was mad at first, but our relationship was otherwise great and we've gone on to have a wonderful life together for years. I never showed any signs of it and I gotten the vaccine as a teenager. My doctor even said not to worry because of that. Well, turns out I did get it anyway as my immune system is trash. It was a strain that is high risk for cancer and it turned into cervical cancer for me. I already have another condition that can cause infertility and now with this too, I am looking at huge medical bills, surgery, treatment that will possibly end with me infertile or needing a lot of medical intervention to get pregnant. I am stressed and honestly resentful that him not disclosing it 5 years has now led me to getting cancer. Meanwhile he is healthy and fine. He is very supportive of me through this journey. I just can't help the feeling of resentment, but it's hard to bring up because it is something I forgave him for already years ago. Is this something I should just focus on trying to let go? I don't know what to do. Update. I appreciate all the comments trying to inform me more on HPV strains and the fact that it's really impossible to know who gave it to me on top of the fact the strains causing warts seemingly don't cause cancer. I think this will make it easier for my mind not to play the blame game and let resentment fester. Also, I do want to be clear, my boyfriend has been nothing but supportive, loving and apologetic this whole time. He takes me to appointments, does everything humanly possible to calm my anxiety and help me through this. His episode with warts was a year before we met. He had them at no time we were together and I have never had any. So it's possible, going off what I'm reading now in these comments, that he didn't even have it by the time together. This is a really emotional time and I'm overwhelmed trying to inform myself on HPV, cervical cancer. I appreciate everyone trying to gently help. For all that are asking in comments, yes, I know the difference between just abnormal pap results and cancer. I did the biopsy and my leap is already scheduled. Update 2. I just really want to thank everyone again who's giving me very useful info, resources I wasn't aware of, and thank you so much to everyone who's shared their journey with cervical cancer and treatment. It's made me feel a lot less alone as I hadn't gotten to talk to anyone with the experience until now. It's gone so beyond just helping my relationship issue and I'm so glad I posted this. The type of HPV that causes warts and the types that cause cervical cancer are different strains. If he wasn't your only partner, no way to know who gave you HPV originally. That being said, his attitude about it and complete lack of support is more of the problem than anything. The strain that causes warts is considered a low-risk strain and is likely not the same strain that caused cervical cancer. There are many different strains of HPV and there are no valid ways to test men for it. Of course, genital warts are easily diagnosed, however men are carriers and spreaders of the types that cause cervical cancer and thus there would be no way to know. Highly recommend you discuss the facts with your GYN. I believe they can test the actual strain it was. I think you have to bring it up. You're going to have cancer treatments because of his stupidity, your feelings are hurt, and you're going to be in pain. If you can't talk to him about it, then you really can't say that he's supportive, can you? 80% of sexually active adults have been exposed to some form of HPV. The strains most likely to cause genital warts are not the same as the ones most associated with cervical cancer. Since condoms do not protect against HPV, the only way to be 100% protected is to never have sex. Cervical cancer, even the most aggressive forms, takes several years to develop. You should have been getting pap tests from the age of 21 and early changes should have been picked up and followed, treated as appropriate. Are you sure it's actually cancer and not high-grade SIL? I am a gynecologist and frequently have patients tell me they had cervical cancer, only to find on record review that they had some form of SIL. Most people have HPV, it's highly transmissible and even a wart on your hand common in childhood can be given to someone else through skin-to-skin contact. So if you're sexually active, just assume you've been exposed because you probably have been. It's not really worth trying to figure out when and where. Focus now is on next steps for your health. Wishing you the best. I've been struggling with abnormal paps and invasive procedures from this for over a decade and it's hell. P.S. Everyone get that vaccine. You can get it through age 45 and even if you've been exposed, it's worth it. Only you know if you can move past it. You chose to stay with him knowing you'd been exposed to HPV and potentially genital warts. That doesn't change the fact that he withheld the truth from you and knowingly exposed you to these STDs. He broke your trust in the law. It's a form of SAW because you didn't have all the information to consent to sex with him. For me, it's a deal breaker. My 30M girlfriend, 28F, found an earring that doesn't belong to her. As the title states, I'm in a bit of a tough situation here. Little backstory here. My girlfriend and I met almost a year and a half ago. I quickly knew she was the woman I wanted to spend my life with. She is funny, smart, independent, extremely attractive, has a great group of friends. We thoroughly enjoy our time together. I can count on one hand how many times we've fought, and both of us are very confident in ourselves and our plans for the future. E.g., just went to tour 3 different condos this weekend. We talk constantly about getting engaged, wedding plans, etc. All in all, we have a very solid relationship and foundation. I plan to propose in a few months and am in the process of buying a ring. Last night, while she was doing some laundry, she found an earring that doesn't belong to her. She immediately walked into the bathroom where I was getting ready for bed and told me what she found. She gave me a look of distrust, for the very first time of our relationship. She asked me if I knew anything about it and I told her, honestly, that I didn't know where it came from and there had to be a simple explanation for it. Almost all of her past relationships are fraught with a cheating partner. She also caught her mom cheating on her dad via Facebook messages about 5 years ago, which has given her a lot of trauma around the subject. At first, I was pretty upset at what the implication was, but I quickly realized how triggering this had to be, and to be frank, it really wasn't a good look at all. We spent the next 30 minutes to an hour discussing where it could have come from. She texted her friends to see if it was theirs, maybe it got wrapped up in a beach towel or one of her bags, maybe old clothes that hadn't been washed in a while which had an old girlfriend's jewelry in it. We tried to think of everything. The confidence that this would quickly be put to rest did not happen. Slowly we crossed them off the list. No clothes that we hadn't worn in a while. Friends texted back not theirs, etc. She cried for a long time and we talked some more. She cried some more. I assured her that I planned to spend the rest of my life with her and would never do anything to hurt her, jeopardize our relationship in this manner. What can I do to give her more assurance that I was not unfaithful? Is there any other ways this might have got there that we haven't thought of? I really do not want this to fester and cause trust issues. Hopefully some aha moment happens soon, but it's increasingly unlikely. You've done very well already. You put yourself in her shoes and understood how hard this could be. I think you just have to continue to tell her, I understand why this could make you distrustful. I want to find ways to show you that I'm committed to this relationship and wouldn't jeopardize it. There's honestly only so much you can do. Keep trying to identify where the earring came from, but also keep trying to reassure her about your feelings in general. See if you can box those in to some degree to prevent it taking over your life. For example, you could ask her if we could spend a dinner just trying to enjoy your time together before going back to the search. I was at a concert on Friday and someone literally got an earring stuck in the sole of their tennis shoe. It was a ridiculously large earring too, so it was quite noticeable pretty quickly. I can see an earring, especially a small one, getting lodged in a flip-flop, the shoes thrown in the bag, somehow dislodged and tangled in a towel. While unlikely, it is possible. Has anyone else ever done laundry in the machine she was using? Previous tenants? Update. Thank you all very much for the helpful advice. Came back home for lunch today to check in with my girlfriend. We had a quick chat, both of us in much better spirits today. We agreed it was likely an old earring caught in the dryer or someone else's that unfortunately found its way into our place. We're in a good place and she assured me she trusted me. She apologized for her initial reaction and I told her I can't fault her for her mind initially jumping to worst case scenario. I'm going to take some of the advice provided here and make sure she knows how committed I am and continue to try and find the owner. The possibility of it being left over in the dryer from a previous tenant sounds like the most plausible explanation. Are the washer and dryer units in your home, or are they communal? Is the earring small enough to get stuck in the little holes in the dryer? Ask her what would help her feel better. Honestly, it might just be something as simple as letting her look at your phone. While this isn't something I'd strongly encourage, you could try. Ultimately, she can't punish you for what others have done. I understand that she has trauma, but she needs to work through it. F23, caught my fiancé's, M23, of subscriptions. What would you do? Hello. This is my very first Reddit post and I apologize if I do STH wrong. Me and my fiancé have been together for about 3 years, half a year of being engaged by now. Here and there he has been avoiding arguments or lying about some minor things, but overall I was happy with him and I really saw a future in us. Now recently I have found out that he subscribed to a female cosplayers for 1 month. When I confronted him, he said it was a one-time thing because he got curious. Said he just looked and that's it. I also cosplay, but just for fun, and this made me really upset. I feel like I wasn't enough to him and I feel inferior to the girl. For now we didn't break up, but I am scared. I am scared that this will never heal and haunt me forever. I am scared of losing the llama. I don't want to leave, I want to believe he will never do it again, but I am scared. Any advice? Talk it out. Tell him clearly, of type activities undermine the health of this relationship and lower my self-esteem. I don't want you to do that anymore. Hey, just please do yourself a favor and take every, black or white, advice you see on her with a grain of salt. This is Reddit. Most people on here are not going to give you practical advice. They're gonna tell you to break up or get over it. It's very black and white here, so try to take it easy. Only you know your relationship. Trust your guts, kid. 3 years and he's already spending money to look at other women. What will happen once you get married, pregnant, fat, older, etc.? I'd say nothing good. If my hubby did that, I'd point at him and call him a dweeb. Nobody pays for an OF subscription because they're curious, loudly crying you're still very young. Would the love of your life be paying money for porn behind your back? Would you ever do that to someone you deem the love of your life? So he subscribed to an OF site for 1 month and you are ready to end your engagement? I mean, you are seriously thinking that you will never heal from him subscribing to an OF account for 30 days? He didn't cheat, didn't try to talk to another woman, he subscribed to a cosplay account. Not a big deal, emo. It seems like this may be just a minor issue on top of a lot of other issues. My advice would be to deal with those other issues and stop ignoring them. If you don't deal with those issues, every other minor issue will become a big issue. I, 34 male, caught my fiancé, 39 female, sneaking around to talk to a male friend. So I worked nights 1-800-0600 and I got off work Thursday to my wife being really sick. 102.8 degree fever and 1 point. Normally I help take care of some stuff around the house, let the dogs out, get our son's bottle ready ECT. And then pass out myself. This time I stayed up to take care of everything so she could stay in bed and rest. So around 8 p.m. the baby monitor dies and my wife has an app on her phone pulled up, so I just grab it off the charger and take it with me. At some point of the night I noticed she received a missed call and just looked to see who and when they called. No biggie, it was a doctor office, but I looked down and see she called a guy she used to work with. I don't remember her having the call, so I looked to see when they talked and it was at 11 p.m. for 1.75 hours and they also talked for another hour and a half before at 7 p.m. Now normally I'd have left it alone and just say I'd talk to her, but I remember that night. We were talking on the phone while I was at work and she had told me she was tired and was going to go to bed but got off the phone with me to make time for him. That made my red flag radar go off and I look back to see in the call history that this has been going on for a while now. All the calls she told me she's gotta go for whatever reason were cut short to call him. At least from my standpoint it seems that way. Unfortunately I couldn't help myself, I had to know more and I checked the texts they had together and it just sounds worse. There were texts about my work schedule and when he can call. There were texts about books she likes that are romance novels, and she gave him a list of books that she was looking at and he bought them for her. She told him that she can't talk right now because I am around. Shit like that, right? So I am sitting here freaking out because why would she be doing this if it was just friendly? Well, I confronted her about it pretty reasonably, I think. In the end, all she's given me for information is that they're just friends, that she doesn't feel comfortable talking to him when I am around, that they have been talking because he has life stuff going on and she's just being there for him. I expressed the pain and hurt I had from this because of how it looks and she's blown it off telling me it's nothing, that nothing is going on. Basically I told her that I need to protect myself in this situation. I gathered my belongings from the bedroom and moved them to the garage and now I am choosing to sleep on the couch. I don't know what I am going to do from here. I feel like there is much more going on than I found and she is telling me, but she refuses to reach out and communicate about it. I tried posting in AIO but got zero traction. I am at a loss at what I should do. You don't sneak around to talk to a friend. She is SL ready lying to you about going to sleep to talk to him. Check if there are any hidden folder or deleted messages. Maybe they also send pictures. Call it off. Your body is telling you what your brain is trying to ignore. And even if that weren't the case, for her to casually invalidate your feelings is a red flag. She's your fiancé, not your wife. Stop it now before it becomes a problem later. What you're describing sounds like classic emotional infidelity. In my opinion, you should communicate to her that she's emotionally cheating on you. Furthermore, tell her firmly that what's happening is hurting you deeply and that she should care since she's in a relationship with you. Her dismissing the issue only makes things worse. Tell her that you're losing trust in her. And without trust, there's no relationship. And no, you're not controlling. It's setting your own boundaries. If that doesn't work, contact a lawyer. Honestly, you don't talk twice in a day for 3 hours total with a friend. Especially not behind your spouse's back. You don't text a friend that you can't talk right now because your spouse is here. You don't send a friend your spouse's work schedule so they know when you're alone. Divorce ASAP. Nothing going on is a lie. She must be seeing him when you're at work. DNA test kid and break off the marriage. You may also want to do an STD test because if they are sleeping together there is always a risk she caught an STD from him. Are you only renting? She has to be cheating, you can't trust her. Break it off. Straight up, call the guy, bluff him. How long has it been going on between you and my wife?